Here I am at the beautiful Marriott Villages in France. So far, so good. I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow, but whatever it is, I know it's going to be an adventure and it's going to be a lot of fun. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Initially, I recorded this video without narration, but I thought it would probably be good to share with y'all a little bit about what we did and where we were going. Our first day, we found ourselves on the train into the big city where Madeline got to see it for the first time, her dream manifesting right before her eyes. We went to the Louvre. It was raining, and the men in the streets who were selling umbrellas kept saying, "Umbrella, umbrella, umbrella." Once inside the Louvre, you're surrounded by sculptures and statues of history of things in the past and pointing to the way of the future. Because, of course, there had to be Starbucks and all of the good things. Next, we saw, of course, the beautiful Mona Lisa, which, even though there's long lines, you can absolutely get close enough to get excellent footage of. She is a must-see, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and everyone must go and see her. I must point out that this is where Madeline saw the Eiffel Tower for the first time. Croissants on every corner. And since Mato works at Italy, had to go. Can I be your star tonight? You fill my soul with light the day we met. I don't wanna leave your side, no. Have me by your side when the sun sets. I hope you'll still want me. I hope you'll still need me a million years from now. The seasons are changing, the nights ever fading. It's time we left the ground. Day 2 was more museums and getting to go to the Musée d'Orsay while taking pictures of the countryside along the way. Cute little boroughs of France went by our windows as we boarded the RER on to Paris. As luck would have it, there happened to be a Van Gogh exhibit that we didn't even know about at the Musée d'Orsay, with many paintings, including the palette and his paints and some of his more unnoted sketches, which Madeline had never seen before. And Madeline is a huge Van Gogh fan. In addition to the fine sculptures with the drapings and the Renoirs and the Monets and the Degas, the Musée d'Orsay holds many of the world's greatest Impressionist paintings, and the architecture is sublime. Highly, highly suggest this as your next outing when you too visit the museums of Paris. After the Musée d'Orsay, we headed to Montmartre, where we met a good friend of ours who also happened to be in Paris. And we celebrated her birthday and Madeleine's birthday and my birthday in style. Montmartre is an artist district, arrondissement in Paris. And when you go, you are surrounded by courtyard painters. The desire to take photos is everywhere, and the food, including the macarons and all of the chocolates, are absolutely gorgeous. Here we are at the Sacré-Cœur, the beautiful church overlooking the views of the city. But what goes up must go down. Our friend Ibi took us to this beautiful palace garden of sculptures, which is evidently where they hold the Senate, and it is a famous spot for taking photos. Would you visit Disneyland if you went to Paris? We did, and it was one of the highlights of the trip. It was so nice to have a taste of home in the middle of the week. We went on Wednesday and therefore had Monday and Tuesday to explore the city, and then right in the middle got to have a taste of home where Mickey and Minnie and everything that you would come to imagine and expect to be in Disneyland was right there reminding us of where we are from.
Je porte un toast à un de mes nombreux camarades perdus en mer. Santé, mes amis. Je garde mes armes à la rue.
Next door is Hollywood Studios with an Avengers Land as well as the famous Ratatouille ride. We couldn't miss it. It was much smaller and you could definitely do both parks in a single day. For those of you who don't know, our family is a huge Eddie Burback fan from YouTube, and after watching his videos on the Rainforest Cafe and Margaritaville, when we saw that there was a Rainforest Cafe in Paris, we just had to go. Now, Madeline hadn't watched his video yet, so we made sure that while we were there, we sat and watched the video and enjoyed the atmosphere. After lunch, we went back to Disneyland Paris and we walked through the Alice in Wonderland maze and gardens and witnessed all of the people coming in and going out. It's very different in Paris. It's so much more relaxed. There's single ride lanes everywhere, and we just were able to have the most wonderful and enjoyable time. So while day 3 was spent at Disneyland, day 4 was spent taking photos and going to the catacombs. This was an area that Madeline was especially excited to go to. Millions of bones were brought there to honor the Parisians in a time when the city was growing and they needed more land to expand the cities. What do you do with all the bodies? Coming up and into the light, we see the city in a rainy, beautiful day in November. We're off to lunch at a sweet little cafe where the owners were husband and wife and fed us escargot and wine, and we lived the Parisian dream. But what about the Eiffel Tower? Well, that's next. On a beautiful day in the clouds, coming at sundown in order to see the light show was our plan. Evie showed us exactly where to go and gave us the best road in which to stand and see the spectacular lights. Day 5 was for modeling and haute couture. A dream and a vision Madeline had to take a photo shoot and be able to represent ourselves in our most chic fashions, which we had to lug in many suitcases in order to get there. And yes, there is weight limits for the airplanes, so be careful when you go and make sure that you pack enough luggage with enough open room to not only bring back souvenirs, but not get docked for the cost of your heavy bags. We only traveled by Met while we were in Paris and on our own 2 feet. So while it was packed and arm to arm with absolutely chic people, you do not go in your pajamas. It was fun. Our dear friend and pastor told us about La Precope, which was established in 1686. It is the oldest known cafe in Europe and has been serving coffee to its customers since 1686, including Voltaire and Napoleon, who once traded his chapeau for his exorbitant bill that he had accumulated over time eating there. An avid bookworm, Madeline found us a used bookstore, actually called San Francisco Books. The owner was from San Francisco and had relocated to Paris. Since it was November and Christmas was right around the corner, at lunch at La Precope, we were sitting next to two lovely ladies who said a trip to Paris is not a trip to Paris without a visit to Le Bon Marché. This department store was filled with the most beautiful glass Christmas ornaments, paper products everywhere, pens, pencils, art books. Parisians are nothing to do with technology, so don't go looking for your iPads and your laptops. Be prepared to get paper cuts and thumb through some of the most beautifully designed and decorated pages of all history. Our last day in Paris, we went to this beautiful Pret-a-Porter for our last ride on the RER and had croissants and walked through the cities. Our last M fully packed to see l'Arc de Triomphe, which we couldn't figure out how to get to. You have to cross all that traffic in order to get to it. To go to Les Champs-Élysées, to drink wine at our last random cafe, and to be able to experience our final amazing sights. If you haven't had a Nutella crepe, wait for Paris. They are the best. And have it as you're walking down the Champs-Élysées and waving to the Cartier bellman as he checks you into the store, and you walk down the boulevard to see the McDonald's. Yeah, I had to. McDo. But getting to see the Louis Vuitton flagship store with its hotel that was under remodeling, well, it was being built at the time, and have her vision board finally come to full manifestation on our very last day of Paris.
And I'm getting mighty tired of your trifling ways.
Taking this trip with my 21-year-old daughter, just mom and girl, was amazing. Being able to have this grand suite at the village with all of its rooms just for us made us feel like queens. The beginning of a very beautiful future for our little girl.
Some of the old songs. For old time's sake.
Thank you for coming with us along this trip to Paris, France. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that it encourages you and inspires you to take a trip, leave your home, fly away, get away, and mostly take your daughter somewhere. She deserves it.
Some of the old songs. For old time's sake. As time goes by. It's been a long